Hey everybody, welcome to Buzzworthy Business, brought to you by Seaside Bank and Trust. I'm your host, Jesse Stakes, and today I have Leslie Urbas from Fit and Fabulous Family Nutrition. Leslie, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course, thanks for having me.
So I won't be able to do it justice, so please tell us about your business and what you guys do.
Of course. So I am a registered dietitian and personal trainer of 12 plus years, and I help committed individuals and businesses to remove emotional eating tethers, reduce disease-inducing patterns, to lose the weight so that way they can live fit and fabulous lives without shame and guilt and missing work time, missing family time, and really living their full life and their full potential without worry about their health.
That's a lot. One of the things that I notice, especially in corporate life, is that, we talk about work-life balance. We talk about people's, health and how it affects their work. I know that we were talking about it off camera. That seems like it's a huge thing that right now is very important, and we're kind of seeing a lot of people try to get back to their health because of COVID and because of what's happened over the last several years. Can you tell me a little bit about that side of your business?
Yeah, of course. So I think when it comes to businesses, really, if you think about it from the top at the first, forefront, they're seeing, work production is less. They're seeing there's more, especially right now, there's more
Sure.
mental health things going on. There's more, I need personal time off, or, worry about illness, or maybe we need to work from home, or, this fear that's built up from the inside on a person, their employees.
Right.
And that is being felt at the top, but we're not sure why. It's like, okay, is it a production thing, or is it, something that we're doing, or where do we tighten down, or along those lines, when in all actuality, it's that they don't know where to go. If they turn on one news station versus another news station, or listen to their friend or whoever,
Sure.
They're not sure what to do. I was overhearing yesterday when I was at lunch, somebody that was saying this diet that she went on that literally caused her to crash because it was a 30-day, I couldn't even hear all the pieces, but basically she eliminated carbs.
Okay.
And she got super duper skinny and then passed out from it. And then that affected her life. And then she was like, but it was so good because I had lost all this weight, and she was promoting it to other people. And I was like, okay. And so when we tie that into a business, imagine that, employee that's down there at the bottom, that's got kids, that is trying to stay healthy, maybe just diagnosed with diabetes. COVID is a real issue, and they come to work and all this is just mounting, but they're the head of your sales department, but you don't know any of this potentially, right?
No question.
So then you feel it up top. And so what I do is I work with the company, the leads, the tops, CEO, HR, all that, to find out where the missing links are, and then really help the employee like I would an individual. Mm-hmm. So if somebody is working with me individually, I help them to piece together all the things that they need so they can improve their life. So it's less of a, health and wellness, okay, we're going to give you this $100 stipend every month
Right.
to go get a gym membership or whatever it is, and, we'll give you a $100 bonus if you get your physical every year or whatever. Instead of that, it's actually working to get your goals as a company, but really piece together from that individual perspective.
Do you find that there's a lot of excitement when you guys start to come into that kind of discovery process and they start seeing that it's actually working? What's that look like?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's just a lot of times we overlook it. It's like it can't be the health and well-being of our employees that's really affecting this, right? It's got to be a system, or I need to hire somebody else to do my marketing, or I need to get this new cool tool
Sure.
that's going to help me to do
It's
something.
difficult to measure.
Exactly. So it's hard to see that a lot of times it's literally that the employees are bringing all that baggage to work, and it's then affecting them to the point that, if you think about it, if you're an employee, the one thing you don't want to do is lose your job. Mm-hmm. So if there's something that's really impacting you on the outside, you're not going to bring that to your job. You're not going to be open with that, because if so, that could be grounds for like, oh, well, this person's becoming unstable.
Sure.
We should remove their position or whatever. So that backs into things. So that's where they start to see it. As that employee believes that their health and well-being is important to the company, they start to produce exactly what that employer wants to get from them.
So how do you do that then? How do you lower those barriers to where people feel more comfortable to talk about their health and wellness at work?
Right. So obviously, it's a HIPAA thing for me.
Yes.
If you came and told me something about your health and I decided to go back and tell it to the, heads of the business, I'm breaking something. So that's liable, right? Mm-hmm. So it's sort of like, protected by code there. So I've never had an employee not open up in certain areas because I'm literally there to help. And that's part of the beginning that we talk about. If you don't feel comfortable with me, I do have other people that work with me. Sometimes, gentlemen prefer to talk to gentlemen or vice versa. So I have other people to do that. But it's also that piece of coming in with the attitude of, I'm only here to help you. So I can only help you as much as you can tell me. So if you literally tell me what it is that you want, that's how I'm going to build the program, instead of me coming at you and saying, we're going to talk about carbs and protein and fat and all these pieces. And you're like, I already know this, or I don't really care about this, right? So it's that personalized piece that people are like, oh, somebody's listening to me. And everybody really wants to get what they want. So one of the biggest questions I ask is, to the employers, what is it that you want to see from this? And to the employee, what is it that you want to gain from this? And that's one of the questions people don't normally get asked. It's like, what do I want? Really? So yeah.
Well, and I think that sometimes people don't even realize that things are happening. I've had things in my own personal life where my health and wellness affected my productivity at work, but I had no idea that it was affecting it until when I finally got to the point of failure and I realized, okay, I need to figure out what's wrong. That's what really kind of motivated me to figure it out. And once I did, when the problem was solved, then my productivity went back up to what I expected. So I have personal experience with what you're speaking about, and I think it's so important, the message that you're giving to our employers and to the people that are working. Tell me, what inspired you to start doing this?
So I've always seen that there's a disconnect, right? If you look at a health and fitness industry over anything, Weight Watchers comes at you with, these are your points and this is the plan you follow.
Yes.
You go to an MLM and this is the supplement you must take and the program you should follow. But none of us really have that, because of our reptilian brain, right? We're focused on our habits. We produce the same things. We're trying to change our habits to conform to this piece of paper. And the thought process is, this piece of paper is not paying us. This piece of paper is not doing anything for us other than giving us another task that we either feel good or bad about. So I see that so many people try to do this. And if they do see results, they have to remain attached to that piece of paper. It has to become so much ingrained in them. A Weight Watcher has to become someone that likes to count points and weigh themselves, right? So people don't really want to do that. People want to be able to live their life and get the body they love and get the health that they want.
Right.
So that's really where I was like, there's a huge piece. So I teach what's called mindset dieting, and that's how I do all of this. And instead of coming at it like, this is your new plan, it's, let's see how we can get a plan that works based on you and your habits.
Well, and I think people, sometimes people get comfortable with a piece of paper because they can say, hey, this is what I'm doing, rather than truly making a lifestyle change and making that change that fits their life based on them. Sometimes people say, well, this worked for somebody else. Keto diet, Atkins diet, South Beach diet, whatever that piece of paper is, they keep saying, hey, that worked for me. So people don't realize that it might have worked for somebody else, but it doesn't necessarily work for them. It's got to fit their life. It's got to fit their health and nutrition.
Agreed. 100%. And that's a downfall, is that we think, well, if Sally Joe did it, I can do it too, you know? And it's not always that way. We're not the same person. It's sort of like being, okay, if I know that 2 + 2 is 4, I can go do, engineer, it's like, not exactly. I mean, we might know 2 + 2 is 4, but you got to go to school and learn all the other stuff too. But, if you're a math and science brain person, that might be the path that you take, but you still have to go through that steps to do that, instead of like, I'm going to conform to this because this person did it. Nobody ever wants to be, I'm going to follow the other person off the bridge, right? But ideally, that's what we do with our health and fitness every day, is we let somebody else tell us what to do instead of coming at it of what we need.
No question. And I've talked to you before off camera, and it's crazy to me because I think about how many people base their success or failure just on what their input is, as far as their actions at work or their actions at home. But they don't think about their health. They don't think about their fitness. They don't think about how their body and their mind are affecting what they're doing every single day.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, that goes back to sort of, if you're trying to help others, if you don't fill your cup up first, you're not going to get very far. But people don't realize, like, if you are the employee or you are the employer, if you're not taking care of yourself, your business will only make it so far. Everything will only make it so far, because eventually you won't be able to keep up. The lack of energy, the lack of confidence, maybe you develop, diabetes or something. So we live our life based on, okay, we're going to get through this. We're going to get to the end. We're going to get our pension or whatever it is. And then we're going to live our our life.
Yes.
But we could wind up with a life full of health problems. We could wind up with, 3 days later no longer being here.
No question.
So it's always like, I'm going to wait to live the life. And that's where I change it. It's like, no, we want you to live your life now while we get to where you think everything will be better. Because if you're not happy now, you're not going to be happy then.
No question.
So.
I can't agree. I cannot agree with you more. Yeah. Leslie, I'd like to talk a little bit about yourself. You are a former military veteran, correct?
Correct.
And your family also serves in the military?
Yes, my husband is still active duty to this day, serving on a ship here, and I would say I'm still technically married to the military for sure. But yeah, I was in for about 3 years and then reserves for 5. And we met when I was still a reservist. So I guess in total, 2009 to now, that's like 12 or 13 years.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much for your service.
Yeah,
and I'm sure that the dedication to your craft and everything has been shaped by your service in the military as well.
Oh yeah, I always say if there was anything I could talk about forever, it would be the top 10 things that military leadership taught me about nutrition. So.
Very good.
Yeah.
If people want to learn more about you and your business, where can they find you?
So my website, LeslieUrbas.com. So that's LeslieUrbas.com. And that's the best way to get a hold of me. Or if you're on any social platform, I'm pretty much the only Leslie Urbas out there. So
good deal. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
If you guys would like to learn more about us here at Buzz TV, you can join us at JacksonvilleBuzz.com. I'm your host, Jesse Stakes, and we'll catch you guys next time.